A while back, I made a video entitled My Favorite New World Tarantulas. You can find a card to that somewhere up here. Um, at the completion of that video, I realized that all the spiders I listed were actually New World Terrestrials. At that point, I made a promise to make a video dedicated strictly to New World Arboreals. So I changed up the backdrop and got the filming. My name is Jay. This is Jay's Cryptic Creatures. Come on, let's learn something together. So I figured if we were going to talk about arboreal tarantulas, I might as well spin the camera around and have it facing towards my adult arboreal wall, which you can kind of see up here. I have some slings over there as well. So obviously, based on the title of this video, we're going to be talking about New World tarantulas and arboreal tarantulas. New World meaning from North America, Central America, and South America, and arboreal meaning they live predominantly in the trees. I'll try to share some general husbandry, some interesting facts, and why I consider them one of my favorite New World arboreals throughout the video. This isn't a best of list or ranking or anything of that nature. This is just, some of the tarantulas that I really like. The chances are your list is going to look a lot different than mine. So come on, let's take a look at this list. First up, we have the Avicularia, or common name, the Guyanan or South American pink toe. This species is located in Venezuela, Guyana, Peru, Suriname, and that surrounding area. This tarantula gets about 4 to 6 inches diagonal leg span. I keep my room, again, 68 to 75, somewhere in that ballpark. And for moisture, I keep a very slightly moist substrate with lots of ventilation, right? What you don't want to do is create a swamp-like or an environment where the spider can suffocate. Some interesting facts about the Avicularia. They do have urticating hairs, but they don't kick them like a lot of terrestrial tarantulas. What they do is actually drag their abdomen and deposit the urticating hairs that way. In addition, they have this amazing ability, if you will, to shoot their poop. So watch out if you're handling. Something else that is maybe a bit unusual with this species is they have different morphs or phenotypes. A gentleman by the username rhawk has a great write-up on arachnoboards located down below in the description. My girl was a rescue from a big box store, so I don't exactly know what morph she is. I believe she's either an M1 or an M6, but it's kind of hard for me to tell. I have no breeding plan, so no worries there. So why is this girl one of my favorites? Well, for me, this was my first ever arboreal tarantula, New World or Old World. So that is definitely a special place in my heart. Additionally, she has this really neat metallic sheen to her, which is, something when I initially picked up or got into tarantulas, my first couple didn't have that look, so it was pretty unique and, got me excited. I believe this tarantula is actually my mom's favorite. She lives quite a while away, so when she does come up to visit, she often asks for where's Pinky, referring to her pink toes. This tarantula has come out and moseyed around the enclosure a couple times during feeding. Super chill, gentle nudges with the paintbrush, and she just kind of meanders back inside, like no spastic or skittish behavior. Just kind of came out for a walkabout. So that was pretty neat. When that first happened, certainly got my blood pumping, but she was really calm otherwise. So She has a special place, my first arboreal tarantula. The next tarantula on my list is probably a big fan favorite, the Carabina versicolor, or the Antilles pink toe. Um, Located in and around the Lesser Antilles and Martinique. This tarantula gets between 4 and 6 inches or so diagonal leg span as an adult. What we'd like to do again is keep that substrate very slightly moist. Do not make a swamp. If you see condensation, it's too much. Lots of ventilation. You again do not create a hyper humid environment that'll almost certainly cause your tarantula to pass. Unfortunately, I do not have video of my Carabiner versicolor. My one and only ended up maturing male a while back, and this was well before I started filming videos for YouTube or anything like that. So I just have a couple of still pictures that will blend in and out here. So why is this spider one of my favorites? Frankly, it's the colors and the varying colors throughout its life. As a sling, it's this amazing metallic, almost iridescent blue. It's something really to behold. Um, and then as the spider grows, that blue gives way to other colors such as purples and pinks and some greens. It is really something unique. In fact, most of the time when people find out that I keep tarantulas and they have that crazy look, like why would you do that? And then I say, hey, well, depending on the species, they have a rainbow of colors. They're really beautiful, and typically that's followed up with a look of doubt on their side. Um, and I'm quick to point to Carabiner versicolor, and I start showing pictures to those people, and usually the response is that can't be real or that's not real, and I assure them that is the case, and that tends to loosen them up a little bit, and we can start having a conversation about some nuances, and hopefully they walk away with a better understanding and maybe a newfound fascination with spiders. As I'm filming this, it really hit me that I am long overdue to have another C versicolor in the collection. The next spider on this list is the Biropura diversipes, and I am aware that I absolutely butchered that name, so we'll go on and just say Y diversipes. This spider is located very far south in Brazil and stays, probably on the smaller side in that 4 to 5 inch diagonal leg span. Like the other spiders we've already mentioned, we want to keep temperatures in that mid 60s to mid 70s. You want a really slightly moist substrate, good ventilation. Trying to mimic that canopy type feel. Interesting thing about this species is they are quite the jumpers and quite quick. So be on your toes. So why is this one of my favorite spiders? Again, we're going back to color here. So this spider is a really interesting blend of blues and grays, if you will, in the legs, and then on the carapace and abdomen, it's depending on if it's male or female, you'll get a grayish blue mix. You'll get a little bit of green or a lot of green, which is really neat because the greens are not so prevalent in the spider hobby. And then also maybe more of an ego type thing is they're harder to find. So the chances are you might be one of your only friends that has this species of tarantula. Um, Again, super chill, great temperament, beautiful to look at. I would highly recommend scooping one up if you see one become available. Again, doesn't happen very often, so grab it up when you can. And last but not least, the Salopias emirna, or the Venezuelan sun tiger. As the name would suggest, you can find this species in and around the Venezuelan area. Um, Probably the biggest spider on this list at 6+ inches, but kept relatively the same, maybe a little bit more humid than some of the other ones, so a little bit more moist soil. But please, again, ventilation is key. Make sure you have good ventilation. Some interesting things about the P. emerna. They do not have urticating hairs, which is a bit unique for New World species. So with that being said, there is thoughts, however not proven by research or science, that their venom is likely more potent than that of other New Worlds. They have a reputation of being a little bit more high strung, a little bit more defensive, because again, without that urticating hair, your choices are, run away or stand your ground and throw up those threat postures. Mine has been pretty good. I'd be lying to say if I haven't gotten a threat posture or two during rehousing, but everything's been fine other than that. So why is this one of my favorites? I have to be honest, it's a little bit spicier than some of the other ones. And, as I was advancing along in my keeping, in the keeping hobby, I picked this girl up as a sling, so we grew together. But I was looking for those species that, again, were a little bit more spicy, a little bit more defensive in preparation of moving into old worlds. Again, I want to highlight defensive, not aggressive. Aggressive is, lunging and chasing after you and attacking without provocation, versus defensive, which is, defending yourself against a big bald ogre that's ripping the roof off your house or opening up and entering your environment. So all of these spiders are not aggressive. They're, potentially defensive. Now, the real reason this girl is one of my favorites is the color. I'm a sucker for black. Outside of my work attire, I don't know if I own a shirt that isn't black. And this species has this really, really deep black that it just feels like it's sucking in all the light around it. And then it's contrasted with these really brilliant oranges on the abdomen, and in particular, this chevrons on the toes, on the legs. It is really an amazing spider to be seen. I remember actually the first time seeing one in person and knowing immediately that one day I'm going to have this in my collection. And went home, did some research, and then after some time, when I felt like I was ready, I picked one up, and it absolutely amazing spider. All right, man, that was a fun video to make. Again, this is my personal preference. If you ask me again in 5 years, frankly, probably if you ask me again in 5 months, my list would likely be different than the list I have now. I'd love to know what your favorite New World arboreal tarantula is. Drop a comment. We'll start a conversation. What did I forget? What do I need to consider? Community engagement is the best. With all of this being said, please like, subscribe, and let's continue learning about tarantulas, centipedes, snakes, and other cryptic creatures together. Until next time.